Hey guys, this was the second example from class, and I think about half of us probably got through this all the way through, and then half got stuck somewhere along the way. So let's just start from scratch. Again, read it, pause it, try to draw your own picture, label what you think it looks like, and then I'll draw it myself, and you'll be able to see what it's supposed to look like. But go ahead and pause, and then give it a shot. Alright, so you have a kite, let's see, flying, with 20 feet of string extended. So I have a kite flying. You know, there's my kite with, you know, it's got the little whatever, and probably has the wood on there, and I don't know, probably has some kind of picture or design of some sort, whatever. That's crucial, so you may gotta make sure you have that. 20 feet of string are being let out, and what I saw a lot of people do is they drew a line straight down and labeled it 20 feet. But that doesn't really make sense, because if you think about how a kite flies, it's generally not going to fly straight up in the air unless you're like, I don't know, like on a geyser or something, and it's just blowing the kite straight up in the air. That just doesn't happen. What normally happens is there's some wind, and it's pushing it to the side, and you're kind of just standing there holding it, or, you know, holding the spool or whatever of thread, and it's, you know, it's flying. Okay, so there's your 20 feet of string. And that, believe it or not, that was where most people got stuck early on, right from the get-go. So they weren't able to get a good picture. So that's the beginning. What else do they tell us? Let's see. The angle of elevation from the spool of string to the kite is 41 degrees. All right, so I'm holding the string here, and it says the angle of elevation is, I forgot what the number was, 41 degrees. So remember, the angle of elevation goes from the horizontal, so there's kind of a horizontal here, and that means this has to be 41 degrees. Right there. There's your 41. Remember, from the horizontal, how many degrees up to whatever it is you're looking at? That's the angle of elevation. And let's see, what else does it have? Draw and label the diagram. Okay, I think we're in good shape there. How far off the ground is the kite if you hold the spool 5 feet off the ground? So they basically want this. They want how high up, if this is the ground here, right? If this is the ground, this is the spool, and obviously everything else is obvious, you know, is obvious there. They want to know how high up the kite is off the ground. They want to know how far is this. Well, I know that the person is standing 5 feet off the ground, right? So this is 5 feet. Or not standing, I'm sorry, the spool is 5 feet off the ground right here. That's 5 feet, which means this is 5 feet. So really, if I could just figure out what this part is, well, then I can figure out what the total height is off the ground. So let's see. I've got 41 degrees here. I'm trying to find the opposite. I know the hypotenuse. So what trig ratio are we going to use? Remember, this should be burned into your brain at this point. The SOHCAHTOA. So you're looking at this every single time, you know, you're trying to answer one of these. So you want the opposite, you know the hypotenuse, that's got to be sine. Sine of 41 degrees must equal x divided by 20, and the rest should be at this point automatic. Sine 41. And again, I'm probably showing more steps than I have to at this point, but I'm trying to get everybody, you know, on the same page here. This one works out nicely. X times 1 equals this times 20 times 20, about 13.1 feet. So that's not the final answer. 13.1 feet is just this part, but then you also have to add in the 5 feet that's here. So plus 5 gives me 18.1 feet off the ground total. And if you're asking yourself, why are you adding the 5? Remember, the spool of string is not on the ground. If we were flying the kite and just sort of put a stake in the ground and tied the string to the stake, well, then we'd be done. It'd be 13.1 feet. But you're holding the string up in the air, and you're 5 feet off the ground, so you have to actually take that into consideration. Okay? All right, that was number 2. I will make this is example number 2 from the class today, and then I'll make another video for example number 3.